Let's go.
Let's go. I always know when I have the right guest on the show. So welcome back. What is up to all the difference makers out there? I've got, this is no surprise, another incredible guest in the studio today. And I am so pumped up. So first off, I got to tell this quick story. I was introduced to Kurt by my cousin Carl, who works with them. And he was telling me, this guy's amazing. You got to get him on the show. And so I called Kurt randomly on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't even know who I was. We just started talking for 3 minutes, and we're going on and on like we're friends, right? Like we've known each other forever. And then I introduced myself. He's like, oh shit! This is okay. Yeah. There you go. I didn't even know who you were. I'm like, this is going to be a great show. Right? We already got that synergy and like kick it off. So, second off, just a little housekeeping. As I mentioned, Kurt was referred to me to be on this show, and I'm super excited. I've read a little bit about his story online. This guy just got back from winning the gold medal in Special Olympics golf, and we're going to get into that story, which is incredible in its own right. But just reading some more of this guy's story, I'm super pumped to share this. And as he was just saying, he saved a lot of lives by telling and sharing his story. So if that is any pretense to wanting to listen to this episode, listen to it. But I mentioned that point is I was referred Kurt. And this was by a listener. And so shout out, Carl, you're the man. Thanks a lot for hooking me up.
Crazy Carl, let's go.
Thanks a lot for hooking me up. But if you are a listener to this show and you're like, I want to be on this show, or I've got a friend, or I know somebody that has an incredible story, they need to be on this show, please reach out. Another shout out and just quick housekeeping to all the listeners that have been with me from episode 1 through and have been listening to me for a while. And shout out to all the new listeners. Shout out to my people in Ireland. I'm getting a good market share in Ireland. So what up, Ireland? Love you, man. Appreciate you. And again, if you are listening to this and one, you think of a guest, shoot me a message. 2, if you think there's somebody that should be listening to this, there's somebody that should be listening to Kurt's story, there's somebody that should be listening to Christina's story or Meg's story, any of the guests that I've had on, tell them, share this, get it out there. I want to, the whole purpose of this is to impact as many people as possible. But to our point, all it takes is one. If we can change one life with our story, it's all worth it, right? It's all worth the pain that we had to get to here, right? So without further ado, welcome to my guest, Kurt Chapelle.
Thank you so much for having me here. Really looking forward to it. And back to when you did reach out, we literally laughed about 3 or 4 times before I knew it was you. I was expecting you to reach out at some point, but didn't know that was you. And I thought that was awesome. And I had the same feeling. I thought this is going to be a lot of fun. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
So thank you, Carl, for referring me. This is great. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Man, yeah. Thanks again. I know you did a little drive to get out here, so
no worries.
Really appreciate it, man. So tell me, man. I was reading some of your story, and I really resonate with you being the class clown growing up through school, and that was my first self-defense mechanism. That was my first way that I've learned how to survive. And so I want to dig into that and kind of into your story from that beginning of why were you the class clown? What did that look like?
Right. So I have a twin. I have a twin brother. His name's Corey. And Corey and I were in the same class until I think the 5th or 6th grade. And what had happened was I'd be parked next to him. I have a learning disability. So ADD, it was before the H was there. So that's how long ago that was. Now it's ADHD. So
you got an extra letter.
Yeah, exactly. So next thing you know, my brother, learning came harder to me than it did him. So I would sit next to him and he would help me along with all of our schoolwork. And our school noticed something was wrong. We need to separate these two to see it. And then that's when my family found out that I have a hard time paying attention, learning disability. So then medication, Ritalin, and that was not for me. It was made me somebody I wasn't. So my family, luckily, they noticed it and they were game. We just needed to find a solution. Well, I went to one of the best schools around, in my opinion, for that. They had a great solution at the time, which is only even grown even better. I'm on the Fenton Education Foundation now, and I want to try and give back to that community that's given me so much. So at a time at a young age struggling, and school was very difficult, even at a young age, I would always learn to laughs can break the ice and can get you from doing something uncomfortable. So I just got good at that, really good. And I carried that mentality all the way through school. And then as I've gotten older, I've looked back and thought how blessed I was to have so many good people around me to help. The teachers, I have a handful of teachers that have a spot in my heart that I will move mountains for when I can return the favor, and I do. But yeah, just getting people to laugh and breaking the awkward silence moment because you're uncomfortable was my solution at the time, because that's all I knew how to do. And it worked. It did work for quite a while. I wish I would have known then to realize that when you feel uncomfortable and you step outside your comfort zone is how we grow as humans. And so I wish I would have really pushed myself in certain areas. Instead of making a joke, just buckled down and been uncomfortable with what I was doing and fought through it. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's how you become a better person. So, but it didn't happen like that. So I was class clown, life of the party, and most obnoxious my senior year in high school. So
like you were voted most obnoxious.
Yeah. And my teachers could attest to all of them. So matter of fact, my gym teacher in high school, my parents worked at the schools as well. My dad, Walt, was a maintenance supervisor. My mom was a secretary. And so I was in gym class and I would swear all the time and playing sports. And the gym teacher, Mr. Ruddy, said, if you swore, you had to do 25 push-ups. So he'd say, Chapelle, 25. And I wasn't very nice. And I said, you know what, Ruddy, you give me 25, which I've apologized to him since. But anyhow, he said, to the office. So I wandered the halls for the next hour. And then the following hour, I get called down to the principal's office. And on the side of the table, it's a long table like this. There's one chair for me. And on this side, I had the teacher, my dad, Walt, this athletic director, and there's four of them. And so next thing you know, Mrs. Clance was her name now, Mrs. Williams. She was explaining, Kurt, your behavior is just out of control. I don't know who you think you are, da, 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 da. And Mr. Ruddy interrupts her. He's like, Julie, he talked like that. Julie, I got this. Kurt, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you a C if you just never come back to my class. And I stood up. I looked over my dad's jaw hit the floor. I stood up, threw my hand out there and said, done. Shook his hand, never went back to his class and got a C. So it's things like that I got this. Oh, it's so funny. Get out of the way, Joe. So I ran into him at a poker tournament, Mr. Ruddy, years later. And I said, I just wanted to apologize. Man, I know I wasn't a good kid. And he said, yeah, you're an asshole. All right. But I appreciate it. I swear to God. And I shook his hand. I thought that was great that he called me out. And it was rightfully so. It was, so I'll wear it. So it's been great. And I think the reason that I graduated from a much smaller like Fenton schools compared to now, but to have the one-on-one time, to have the smaller, it's so important to somebody that's out there struggling with a learning disability or personal issues and stuff like that, to be able to feel comfortable to go to the right people and talk. So it took a lot of, sleepless nights and a lot of upset, just to get to that moment. But I'm there.
What was that point where you decided to sit in that uncomfortable and not crack the joke?
Oh, I think it was probably like 5 years ago, to be honest with you. I got so used to cracking jokes. I'm not as funny as I used to be, I don't think, because when you don't think and you just say stuff, it's when you get people are like, oh my God, this guy's
crazy.
But yeah, exactly. But it's also gotten me in a lot of trouble over the years. But I think as I've gotten, actually, to be honest with you, probably when I quit drinking, I start living life on life's terms a little bit more, and there's not an excuse for everything. There's a solution. So how do we find it? And once again, just surrounding myself by the right people. That's literally so important. is so important. You surround yourself by people that you admire, you look up to, that make you a better person, better husband, better father, better employee. And it's the trickle down effect. But you have to be open minded and willing to do the work.
How do you go from that space? And this is it's so huge. How do you go from this space where you have your friends, you go out partying, you do these things? Is that normal? And then recreate and find new people?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. When I stopped drinking, I lost a lot of friends, or what I thought were friends.
Yeah.
I found out who my good friends were because I had to distance myself from a lot of people. I just couldn't be around it. I'm getting a lot of those people back into my life slowly when I felt more comfortable with myself. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything to do with them. I just couldn't be around it. When you are moving in the right direction and you're accomplishing, whether it's at work or you're doing things for your community, the right people,
they start appearing.
Yes. And that's the Lord has blessed me in so many ways, but bringing the right people in my life at the right time. And you have to be aware of, okay, this is obviously they're in my life right now for a reason. I need to learn and grow as fast as possible because everything we do in life's temporary, right? So if you work, at GM and you're there for 30 years, technically you're probably going to do more than one job for 30 years there. And 30 years isn't end all be all, So what about the other 40, 50 years of your life? So
yeah,
it's temporary and you just jump in and it's work. I work all the time on whether it's people, skills, and trying to help out with my community or at the dealership. But the more I've done, the more I'm moving in the right direction, staying out of trouble and doing something for somebody else.
It's so awesome. So I started my business 4.5 years ago, and it's doing the work.
Yeah.
It's doing good things. It's going out in those communities, and lo and behold, the people start appearing. And one of the best things about when I took that leap and started my business was that these people came, in just incredible people that were changing my life and taking me to another level and challenging me and pushing my mindset. And it's like I didn't know any of those people 4.5 years ago. So it's like the blessing of having all these new people in my life that think on another level, that go out and serve their communities, that do the good things that I want to do. Again, if I wasn't around them, you don't see how to do it sometimes.
There's 3 people that come into my life to change it for the better. 3, there's been acquaintances along the way that help point me in the right direction and stuff like that. And actually that would probably be 4 people that have come into my life to make it a heck of a lot better. Number 1, my stepfather who helped raise me, Walt. He was such an important role model on how to do the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable and hard. Mm-hmm. Always about giving, never receiving. Number 2, I would say AliKhan Amlani, my friend that I've just participated in the Special Olympics with him. The 3rd would be my wife. She made me realize that some things in this world are worth fighting for, and to be the best person I can be because she deserves that much. And then the 4th would be Ryan LaFontaine, LaFontaine Automotive. The guy's been such an inspiration on doing the right thing, doing the work, the work. But nothing. It's just I've gotten closer with God. I've been a better father. I've been a better husband and employee, and it's all kind of starting to come together. It's just like you said, the Lord puts the right people in the right places at the right time, and it's just being open to receive it.
Yeah, being open to receive it.
Yeah,
because sometimes the people are there, the right people are there. They're knocking, and you're not answering the door. Right, you don't even hear it.
Right.
The music's too loud.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Or come back tomorrow, and then that ship has sailed. So, no, it's just it's been such a blessing to be able to grow in certain aspects to where I do look at life. I was in a bad car accident when I was 16. My friend was older. He was driving, and unfortunately, he passed away. He didn't make it. I've had close to 30 procedures. I was wheelchair bound, bed bound for a year. Just I've had a lot at a young age. And when you live and your friend is not in a car accident, and I had that survivor's guilt, and that's when I started hitting the bottle big time. And that I numbed myself for, I could say, a good 15 years, just inside my addiction because of woes me and just I don't deserve. He was going to be a doctor, and I can't even, spell my middle name, and why me? And I have, and so, but over time, God has a purpose for you, and I'm finding out my purpose now, and it's to serve.
It goes right back to the conversation we were having before we got rolling on film. Is you said you've impacted so many people by sharing your story, and you sit and think about what if it would have been you,
right?
And you weren't there to impact those people. What would happen?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it for sure, and it wasn't me. Just because when I was out partying and in my addiction, I wasn't as open as I am. You're selfish, and you do what you want to do when you want to do it. And then when I put that bottle down, life blossomed. I couldn't have ever imagined to where the people, the things, my daughter, work. It's been so amazing for my life to blossom in the direction it has because I'm doing things in my heart for the right reasons. Yep. And it's a constant daily reminder. You got to keep moving forward and stay positive, but keep
Is it like you're on the right path because all these good things are happening?
Yeah. That, and it just weighs on my heart all the time, that I need to do more. Before I would never even, I'll pick I forgot my wallet. And then if I was at the bar next to him, I'd buy him a drink or something, like that's my good deed for the day. But now it's totally the opposite. It's just I literally want to do as much as I can for my community. And my daughter and LaFontaines have been very implemental in getting me to that point.
That's so amazing.
So, yeah, it's unbelievable.
You mentioned AliKhan.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Special Olympics and the golf. Tell me that story, man. I want to know more about it.
It's unreal. So AliKhan and his family grew up next door to me. I've known him since like the 6th grade. And he's literally I think he's God's image of what man should be. He is always in a good mood. He's always laughing. He's funny. He always tells me he loves me, gives me a hug. He's always glass half full. Never wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And so over the years, I started doing the polar plunge. And actually the first couple of years, I was absolutely hammered. I'm like, I'm getting out of control before I jump in that water. And I did. And then I quit drinking. And then I still wanted to do it because it was that important. He participated in it, and it's brought him this confidence, even when talking about it in passing. And then, so I wanted to continue to do that. And so we did. And then every year, my group would get a little bigger. And I ended up in the top 10 for fundraising in the state in the country. A couple of years, the top individual fundraiser in the state for like 3 years. Wow. So it kind of took off in its own light. But I ended up becoming friends with Pat, and she's the Area 13 Director of Special Olympics. And she called me one day and said, "Okay, Kurt, I took the liberty of signing you and AliKhan up for Special Olympic golf." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, it's unified golf." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" I'm like, "Is caddy? Like, I don't understand." She started laughing. She said, "No, you play as a team." And she said, a lot of disabled athletes will never get to play a team sport. Oh. So this is a good way to have that camaraderie, to talk through shots and all that stuff. And I said, done. Yeah. I'm in. So she signed us up, and we actually went down to states here in the state of Michigan, and it's in Ypsilanti, and we ended up winning gold there. And then the Special Olympics of Michigan reached out, wanted AliKhan and I drive up to their headquarters, which is in Mount Pleasant. So we did. And when we were there, they surprised us with, we're going to the Nationals, the USA games, and it was in Orlando. So him and I went down and we roomed together in like the athlete village with all the athletes, and our families got they rented an Airbnb and all stayed together. And it was one of the coolest experiences. My daughter being born, moving up our wedding, so my dad Walt could make it. Two huge moments in my life, and that wasn't far behind it. It was one of the best weeks of my life. There was so much love and laughs and joy. It was just, I'm a better person for doing it. And it reassured me that God's working through me in the right way. I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Crazy story about this. I've golfed a ton. AliKhan and I golfed a ton together. He works with me, but we do a lot of golf scrambles together, and he's so much fun. So we do it all the time, and we have for years. And my dad Walt got me into golf years ago, and he's golfed with AliKhan a lot, myself. So we're down there, Special Olympics, and our families are there, and our families would walk and follow us like we're pros, basically, kind of, right? It was kind of surreal. And so we're in golf carts. So the 16th green and the 17th tee box were quite a ways apart from each other. So I ended up, the first 2 days, hopped on the cart, Con and I shot over, and no one was in front of us, so we teed up and hit. And next, by the time we got up to the green, our family rounded the corner and came down and made it up there. So the third day comes around, and we're on the same hole. Same thing happened. We got finished, hopped in the cart, went over. But fortunately for us, there's people on that green. So we got held up at the tee box. And that gave enough time for my family to come around the corner and down the hill. His family, his dad was there, and my mom got down. My wife's pregnant, and she had the stroller with our daughter in it, so she was back a little ways. And my mother got closer, and as she got closer, the people got off the green before, and out of nowhere, this is how I know that it's working the right thing is that my mom got closer and she said, "All right, Kurt, Dad's with you in spirit. He's going to help you. He's going to help you get a hole-in-one right now. You can do it. All right, I love you." And I kind of looked up and I'm like, "All right," kind of humoring her. "All right, Dad, you ready?" And I had it on the tee already, and I said, "Show me the line." And that's the saying him and I joked about before he passed. And I teed it up, I hit it, and it went in. I got a hole-in-one. She called my shot before. It was unbelievable. I just dropped my club and started running right to my mom. And when you're in your addiction and you get in a car accident at a young age, I've disappointed my mom more than I could shake a stick at. We've had a lot of not good fun conversations, coming to see me in rehab, and like it's had its.
You haven't had your proud moments.
And I'll never forget her face for as long as I live. It was pure joy. It was excitement. She's jumping up and down and she's yelling, "It was Dad. It was Dad." And I ran up, she jumped into my arms. She had tears going, I have tears. My wife comes from behind, pushing the stroller, almost tackles me. I seen it. And I thought, how amazing is that? Finally, the dust settled and I said, "Mom, what in the hell possessed you to say that? Like, what came?" She said, "Kurt, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I just said it. Something came over." And I said, "That's the Holy Spirit."
Yeah, it is.
It changed my life forever. Before, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out with my faith and just trying to do the right thing, and constantly reminder of every day. At that moment, I knew that the Lord was going to work through me and through I was where I was supposed to be. And that opened my eyes. I've never gotten a hole-in-one. Never. I've come close a couple times, but not.
And what a stage to do it on.
Exactly. And I thought that's just a testament to keep working and doing right for Him. The glory is His. And I'm no joke. And I'm all in with both feet. Like I jumped in with both feet, whether to do the outpour of the community was just amazing. People would reach out the text, the Facebook messages. I remember reading it to AliKhan at night, and he'd start tearing up, and it struck a chord with him and me. And it just reassured that this is such a wonderful community I live in. I'm from Fenton, and it reassures that I want to do more. And that's it. That wasn't even the best part. The hole in one wasn't even the best part of it. And I've told this story a couple times, but it's his thing. And so I had him go first for everything, AliKhan. And so the last day, we're going on the podium to get our medals. And he goes first. And so they put the medal around his neck. And then the guy backs up and grabs my medal and puts it around me. And AliKhan does this thing where he gets really excited. He puts his fingers on his nose like this. And he did it like 3 times. And then that guy backed up. And leaned in. And he gave me the biggest hug. And he squeezed, and he said, "I love you so much, Kurt." And I thought, that's what life's about. I just help make a wonderful moment for a wonderful human that I will never forget. He did it just as much as for me as I did for him. You know, we were there together to experience it. He was in my wedding. I love him to death. And I'm so happy that he gets to celebrate this for the rest of his life. It's unbelievable. And he deserves it. So
I love how you said, I'm helping him, he's helping me.
He's done just as much for me as I've done for him. Back to my drinking days, I'll never forget. I was in rehab, just got out or something. And, you know, that's it. You're low. You disappointed a lot of people. You've hurt a lot of people. You've done a lot of things that it's hard to look in the mirror at times. You start hating yourself. And not Khan. He would tell me he loved me just as much at my lows as he has my highs. And for that, I'm forever grateful. He's literally, that's why I feel like he's
love.
100%. And it is. That's why I feel like he's God's image of man. Like that's what it should be like, you know? Not what you have or what you did. It's how can we help each other out, you know? And that's what he's done for me and I've done for him. You know, we help each other out and we really enjoy each other's companies. There's nothing like getting him laughing in stitches. It's great. Very blessed.
I love it. Were you guys expected to win this?
God, no. Absolutely not. No. So I apologize. He would ask before, are we going to win? And I'd say, no, absolutely not, Con. We're winning by being there. So let's just have fun and enjoy it. And every day was like that. We literally just enjoyed the moment. And our relationship, I've known him for so long. And we know each other so much that we're the only ones that really worked like a team like we did. We played another team from Texas. They were a father-son. But they kind of didn't even do what we did. We would caddy each other up. Even if I knew what I was going to do, I'd ask him.
Yeah.
He'd have his input. His head was in the game for most of the time. I'll never forget. It's day one, and I'm talking. We're on the green. They're lining up their putt, and I'm looking at the break of ours, and I'm talking out loud to Con. And I said, see that dead spot in the green? That's where you're going to want to end the ball. Like the hole's there, okay, bud? And then it will break towards the hole. And that's how I would kind of help him out, point out stuff like that. And I look up, and he's not paying attention to anything I say. He's leaning on his putter with his arm on his hip, and he's just staring at all of our family, our spectators. And he's got the biggest grin on his face. He was just living in the moment, like he was enjoying it. And I had to reel him in. Hey, what are you doing? You're the ace, not me. We got to reel it in. So, and he did. He was the ace. He is, and he's the reason why we won it. He's steady Eddie right off the tee, and so we got caught fire. The hole in one was a big turning point. Our momentum it was neat. And once that happened,
momentum in sports is incredible.
It is, and we had just as much fun off the course too. Like we spent a lot of time together, obviously rooming together, and it was so much fun. I remember he would say we would be getting ready for bed, and because we had to get up super early to get to the course, catch the bus, and all that stuff. So we would be getting ready for bed, and he'd say, "Kurt, can I get something to drink?" And I'd say, "Yeah. What do you want, a pop?" And he'd get up and look because it's late. Like, his mom's not going to let him have a pop. And he'd look. He'd be like, I can have a pop. And I say, you want an ice cream too? I'm not your mom. We're on vacation. And he'd start laughing. We'd go down. I'd give him a caffeine free. But he's none the wiser and loved it. So we had so much fun. He loved meeting a bunch of people. I made friends for life. The world, the country, let's just knock it down to just our country. If everybody participated in volunteering or playing or doing something in the Special Olympics in their state, the world would be a much better place. There was so much love, and it was just, it's what it's about.
Yeah.
We don't know when our ticket's punched, and I want to try and help make somebody else's journey that they're going through a rough one, to help let them know that everything's going to be okay and you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not the first one to ever go through that.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about, everybody's been, especially addiction. Everybody has known somebody that suffers from addiction. And so it's still kind of one of those things where, I just embraced it. I didn't talk about it. I hid from it for a long time, but I think that's what the Lord wants me to do, is help other people going through a hard time. And so AliKhan's been a big part of that. And my wife and my daughter, obviously you have kids. That
Gives you a whole different lens,
my
right?
God. What you think about, the stuff you think's important before that is no longer important.
Yeah.
And the meaning of life. I work for the LaFontaine family, and they have, my daughter and them have been such a important role in my life of wanting to do more, using your platform for good, not greed. And if you do that and you do it unconditionally for nothing in return, you're going to do the right thing, and you're going to help the right people, and you're going to make a difference. And that's exactly what I am doing. I'm trying to do as much as I can for this wonderful community because I love it very much. And it's, where else could, a guy do what I've done in this world and struggle through school, barely make it, get kicked out of the same university twice, just party animal, and then reel it in. And then I have, to jump in with both feet in this LaFontaine, and I have a big customer, just sell cars and want to do more in my community within it. It's faith, family, and friends and everything else. So country, so faith, family, country. My family is my friends. My customer base. I want to take care of them just as much as I do my family members. And so I think about it just like that. Like, this is my job on this earth, is to serve other people, whether it's getting the best deal I can on an automobile, or whether it's helping them get through their struggles with addiction or learning disability, or let them know that everything's going to be okay. Just, you could persevere, just keep going, one foot in front of the other every day.
Yeah.
And it's the mindset too,
It's huge because to me, I'm a huge proponent on sales is serving at the highest level when you're doing it the right way. And it's all about taking care of other people, and there's so many different iterations of sales and whatnot. But when you're literally taking care of other people, you're doing nice things for other people. You're not going and knocking on someone's door and like, hey, remember that nice thing I did? It's time for you to owe me a favor.
Right.
And like, who do you have? Who can you refer me to? But when you go out and you do good in the world, people talk about you. People say your name like that. It's all that good karma, right? Like,
Yeah.
But it's literally when you make that impact on the world, other people want to be around you, whether they're buying a car from you or they're, whatever it is.
Right. I agree with that. I think a lot of the reason why I want to overachieve in the giving to my community and being there to help is because in my addiction, I hurt a lot of people. I hurt myself. I hurt my family. I hurt my friends. I hurt my, and you make a lot of poor choices. I've wasted a lot of years of my life being selfish and worrying about me and nobody else. Mm-hmm. And the moment I hung that up and started putting other people first, and I'm the happier than I've ever been. It's the way it works. It's weird, but don't worry about what you're going to get. Worry about what I can do. Christmas. I remember growing up, I would get disappointed if I didn't get what I wanted. I was selfish, and I'd be like, "Oh shit," you know.
Yeah.
And then now I don't even. My mom, I don't want anything. I want to watch your face opening up when the gift I gave you.
Yeah.
And that's the gift you can give me. Is enjoy,
yeah.
You know, and that's the truth. It's just so much has changed over the years with wanting to do the right thing and for the right reasons. You know, so they, like I said, using your platform for good and not greed has been important, I feel like, and that's the reason why I'm going to run for local office. I want to continue to do this. Obviously, I'm running as an independent. The two parties aren't the same two parties they used to be, and there's so much hate, and because of that, there's no compromise going on. And that's what government was formed with the premise of compromise. And if you're
not for these two parties to like stonewall each other based around their views, right?
Exactly. So that's where I'm going to come in and bridge the gap between the two as an independent. And I'm a kind of guy that just gets shit done. You know, I'm energetic. I'm moving forward, and we have a goal, and we're going to hit that goal. And so I want to pour my heart and soul into my community as they have poured it into me over the last so many years.
It's so cool. Again, I'm learning. I've been learning about you over the last week or so since we've had a conversation.
Right.
Just really because we connected on Facebook, and somebody that I've known for a while posted something about you running for county clerk and vote for this guy. He's kick ass and everything else. And I'm like, that's so crazy. Just literally, I just met you a few days before over the phone. I'm like, that's awesome. So there's more things to talk about. But then you were just sharing this story about some of the adversity that's taken.
All the more reason that I know in my heart that I'm doing the right thing. I never thought I would want to get into this politics. I never cared, never paid attention. Having my daughter and stop drinking, now you start paying attention to stuff that you never paid attention to before, right?
Yep.
And so it just kept weighing on my heart. And I remember sitting in church Sunday, and the message was your purpose. What's your purpose? What's your purpose? And then I would daydream. I'd sleep about it, dream about it at night. I mean, it just wouldn't go away. And so I felt like that's something that I needed to discuss, to try and help. So I said, well, before I do that, I'm going to go. Even before we went to Florida, I went down to the county clerk's office to get my petitions because I want to run it as an independent on purpose. The two parties, it shouldn't matter in lower government. Yeah. How can we work together to get stuff done?
Yep.
So I went and got my petitions from the county clerk's office, went to Florida, and then came back, and I let the dust settle because I didn't want to take away from Con and what he had accomplished there. I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about him. So I'll wait a little bit, and then I would go get my signatures. And I did. I turned them in a day early. And when I went down to the county clerk's office, the gentleman wasn't very nicest, but, I can get that he's stressed, and they're understaffed at the time because their John Gleason's on leave or something. The county clerk, he's getting some trouble. I don't know all the ins and outs. I know that it was a zoo in there, and I said, okay, I just don't want to take up a ton of your time. I'm trying to turn my petitions in so I can get on the ballot in November. He said, okay. And then he grabbed my petitions and he said, wait a minute, these are the wrong petitions. And I said, you're the one that gave them to me. I came here 2 months ago and asked for them, told you what I was running for, and this is what you gave me. And then I filled it out.
Yeah.
Bring it in. Now you're telling me no? And he's like, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. Have a good day. Next. And I'm like, no, next.
No, next.
No, absolutely not. That's not acceptable to me, sir. I said, and you wonder why everybody's up in arms with where this country's going. I said, it's frustrating on this end. I'm trying to serve my community, not my party, serve the people in my district. And you're making it extremely hard. He said, I'm sorry, but you could take it up with the state. Here's a phone number. And then I said, well, where are the correct petitions? He said, well, we don't have any. What do you mean you don't have any? He said, well, they're not located here. So where are they? Oh, they're in the courthouse next door and in the basement. Well, let's get them. Time's ticking. So after he finally gave me the correct ones, I was so blessed. I live it's just another thing that reassures me I'm doing the right thing. I got just as many signatures in less than 24 hours as I did in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we meet the deadline, I took it in. The lady said, I can't believe you did it. I cannot believe you did it. I can't believe it. And I said, to be honest with you, I try and do as much for my community as I can, and I don't ask for a ton. I asked for a lot this time, and the support was amazing. It was unbelievable, and it's a testament that my district's ready for change, and it is. Everybody's excited.
Was quitting ever an option?
No.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm on a mission. I know what I need to do, and I know where I need to go, and it's you. My wife said it best. She said, maybe the Lord just wanted to see how bad you really wanted this. Through a bump in the road before. Yep. How bad do you want to impact your community? And it is. It's about the community, and that's it. It's not about the party. It's about the people. The feedback I get when I was knocking on doors was amazing. A lot of love. Everybody loves the fact that I'm independent for the most part, because it shouldn't matter at this level. I just really, there's not a Democrat going on the ticket this year against us. It's going to be me and the incumbent. And so the Democratic Party has been supportive. I've been very blessed to be in the right place at the right time. And I just listening to what I feel is right. And it's the Lord way on my heart. I know I'm doing the right thing. And whether I didn't get on the ballot this time, would I keep moving forward to be a write-in? Yeah, it'd have been a long shot and it's a lot of money, but I definitely know I would have came back 2 years from now. But the LaFontaines have been great. They're working with me on scheduling and trying to make it all work. And I think that it's so important to be able to give more than you take. And so I want to help inspire other people and help do what's right by my community. Not, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like 101, everybody says, I had a guy ask, what's your thought on the abortion, Roe versus Wade? And I said, to be honest with you, I have my opinion, but that's at a state level. I'm running for a county position. It doesn't matter my opinion. I'm going to uphold the law, the Constitution of the state of Michigan. And so whatever they implement, that's going to be it. But I'm not going to have the one vote that's going to sway that decision or not. Why? I want to know why our roads aren't getting fixed and why we don't ever get any grant money and why the parks, type of 101.
Yep. Stuff is going to affect you right here at this level.
Exactly. And so everybody can get on board with it. And it's been a very, very, very great, encouraging couple weeks, and especially since last Friday, that just made me want it even more. The whole petition thing.
Was that last week?
Yeah, last Friday. Yeah, last Friday I went back and turned in. It was on the 21st that it was due, so I turned it in on the 20th, and then I was back on the 21st with another one. And
it said to be shocked you walking in.
You're like,
getting them all
she
signed.
Literally said it like 3 times. I can't believe you did it. I can't believe you did it. And I just said, I'm very blessed, very, very blessed. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's nothing I ever would have imagined me trying to do this, ever. Nor did I ever care to do it. Now I feel like if you use your platform for good, I can help people. I can be a help to my community even more.
Yeah.
So how can I do that? I'm not a millionaire. I can't just write checks and donate money. I'm not a philanthropist. It's just I don't have the money. I work hard for a living, but I want to make sure that there's more than one way to give to your community, and it's time and effort, and I'm going to do it. I am. I want to do what's right by them. I live in the best district in the county for sure, but I mean, I'm so blessed to be from Genesee County. My parents worked at school since my dad retired from the road commission. I have my uncles, 10 of them retired from the shop, the UAW. They've been the big help. It's just, I'm blessed to be from here, and I want to bless it by being able to make a economic, development, economic growth in my area. And that's going to only make education better. And just, why not?
Yep.
If I can help somebody go through the struggles I didn't have, if I could help somebody not go through the struggles I went through because of whether it's advice or whether it's something I vote on, I'm in. You know, how can I continue? But that's the thing. It's got to be for the right reasons. I don't have an agenda. My agenda is to serve, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what everybody's that both sides are so polarizing right now.
Because there is an agenda.
Exactly. Yep. And that's it. I'm not. I'm going to be very good about pulling ourselves. Okay, let's lock ourselves in the room and get this done.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a compromise to everything. And even to that guy that made a comment about Roe versus Wade, I said there could be a compromise on that too, but you have to have a conversation to have compromise. And right now they're not even talking.
Yeah.
So how can we do that? And that's my purpose. I honestly feel is to try and bridge the gap.
Think about if you went to work for a company and you had two factions and both sides were like, you're never going to win and you're never going to win. So we're going to do anything in our power to make sure that you consistently lose. Would you want to work for that company?
Absolutely not.
What would that company look like? It'd be a disaster. Like it'd be a cancer. It'd be horrible. And that's what I don't talk politics on Coffee and Grit at all. Last week I had a state rep that was running, and so we talked a little bit about politics. Not for one candidate or another, but just the reason why is because I get so frustrated with this side, that side, my team, your team. This is the problem we're having is two sides are set up to succeed if the other one fails. But that's not even true, because you might win the battle, but you lost the war, because as a country, as a society, as people, we're all losing.
Exactly. Do you remember after September 11th and the whole country was so unified.
Yeah.
Everybody got brought together so close.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. And it's going to take guys like myself and yourself to try and stand up to do what's right for the right reasons.
Show the community we can communicate.
Exactly. We do have the power. We just need to help each other get to where we need to go.
Yeah.
Before I can help my community, I have to get elected, right?
Yep.
So how do we do that? And it's just one step at a time. But I think that to be honest with you, my goal of doing this is to inspire and to inform and inspire. I want to inform everybody of what's going on at a county level and what we're going to be voting on, what this is happening this week compared to next week. And then I want to inspire somebody else to do the right thing, not what's best for their party, but what's best for their community, their district right here.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I know in my hearts of hearts that I can make a difference. I know it for 1,000%. So I'm going to work very hard over the next 3 months and, pray a lot.
Well, whether you win or not, which I feel like you've got this fire that you're unbeatable, right? But you're going to continue making a difference. You're making a difference now.
Well, thank you. That's the goal. I'm never going to stop, even if I don't get elected. It will be a learning curve, I mean, there's a lot of presidents that lost in early elections and when it kept moving forward. So I just use this as a testament to the system needs to be worked on. There needs to be some good positive change. And I'm going to be the guy raising my hand and asking lots of questions.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to lean on a lot of good people. I don't know everything by any means. But I do have a lot of friends that are very respectable members of society and their communities, and I'm going to get a lot of input from a lot of people. So I know every time I have to vote on something, I'm going to be making the right decision. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Well, nowadays with polls online and social media, I don't know why it's not. That's why, when I say I'm going to inform, my goal is to make more people get out and vote, okay? And more people knowing what's going on in lower government. And that's it. So how can we do that as a team? And nothing but good stuff's going to come from that.
You talk about, again, inspiring people, and just even that story you're sharing with being rejected and told you have the wrong petitions, because 99.9% of people would have went home frustrated and defeated.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have. You knew your outcome. You knew what you wanted, and you weren't leaving there until you had your outcome. And you ended up getting it.
Yeah, it was surreal, to be honest with you. I think I didn't have time to hesitate. I remember talking to my mom, and you could tell she was so frustrated. And I was driving back, and she just was getting to the negative part because she was frustrated for me. And I said, Mom, this is the Lord's will. What's going to happen is going to happen. but I need your positivity right now. Negativity breeds negativity. Let's remain positive and let's just keep pounding the pavement. And we did. And that's exactly what happened. You know, it's just,
we can talk about the injustices. We can get upset about everything, but then what does that do? How does that help you?
Exactly. Oh, they'll get me. And then, or they put it to me and I'm going to, you know, and it doesn't get us anywhere. What could get us somewhere is by working extremely hard to get elected so I can figure out what we need to do to make this district and county better, right? Yeah. So
how can we fix that from ever happening again to somebody else?
That's going to be a goal for sure. And everybody can get on board with that. I've told this story numerous times and everybody's blown away. And there's definitely some change that needs to happen at that level and working together with them, not sitting back and complaining at them and screaming at them. Oh, you screwed me. That doesn't get us anywhere. How can we work together so it doesn't happen again? You know? So at the end of the day, I'm just very blessed, but you know, it all starts from, surrounding yourself by good people and that give you the confidence to be the person you're supposed to be.
It's huge. It's who's in your village.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm so blessed to have the best people and it takes a village with me, you know. Now I know why lions eat their young. You know? So no, it's been great. But we'll know. Back to the Special Olympics, I want to give AliKhan his kudos. We'll know if we're going to Germany in the World Games here in October.
So
if we potentially, I don't know if they select unified teams to go, but we were told we have a chance to go to the Germany to World Games, but it'd be amazing. And we want to go if we can, for sure. So my wife and I have number 2 on the way. And it just reassures me that I remember when I was sitting down with LaFontaine's interviewing, Ryan said, "Where do you see yourself in a year?" Mm. And I gave an answer, and he said, "Kurt, let's not do this for the wrong reasons. Let's do this for the right reasons. I like your motivation. Let's do this for the right reasons, and we could build a legacy together." And I haven't forgot. This is the owner. It's taking the time to interview a sales rep. And at that moment, I leaned back in my chair and I thought, this guy is the real deal. He's the real deal.
First off, not only is he just the owner, but how many dealerships does he have?
Right, like 30, 31 or something.
31 dealerships. So does he sit down with all the salespeople?
No.
Okay.
No, but so my old dealership, he knows everybody's names. I watch him go through his stories, the most approachable. And his thing is, I put my pants on the same way everybody else does. And that's him. He's just such an important guy to his community. When they just bought another dealership in Grand Rapids, and the first thing I thought of was how lucky Grand Rapids is because they're going to dump so much into that community. That's it. And no joke. And they do.
Yeah.
So they try and help out as many people as they can along the way. They give out vehicles to Teacher of the Year. Instead, they're just...
I see it all over
the place. They're the real deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so... How many? I hate that type of question. Typically, where do you see yourself in 1 year? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
It's such a trivial question that nobody ever. What's the right answer? You know, and and what do people get out of that? But nobody ever takes it to that next level and challenges you. Like, are you doing that for the right reason?
Exactly.
I've interviewed so many people that when I'd ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? They would tell you what they thought you wanted to hear. Like, oh, I want to be in leadership. I want to run my own, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you think that they think that you want to hear that, right? But they have no leadership qualities. They don't want to ever be in that position. They just want to get the job. You know?
Exactly.
So if someone to call it, I'll be like, are we doing it for the right reason? And then to drop, let's build a legacy together. I'd be like, I'm in. Where do I sign up?
And I did. And now that's why I'm trying to implement. Like he's instilled to me, do more, give more, be a better person. The more you throw yourself into your community, your family, faith, family, friends, everything's going to be okay. No matter if I'm supposed to, it's supposed to happen the way it's going to happen. So you just have to try and do it for the right reasons and continue to move forward. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm not a millionaire. I can't just write checks. However, I can work my tail end off to try and provide my community with the more information and the right answers. And that's what I'm going to try and do. We're going to make it fun.
That's what it's all about, is being fun, right?
Exactly.
How did you meet Ryan? How did you get connected?
I had a friend of mine that worked with him for years, and then I started doing social media online, and he caught wind of that, and then he started reaching out saying, "You ready to be part of the family deal?" Yeah. And I love the name of the family deal to begin with. I'm a big family guy, and so we sat down a couple times, and he has changed my life and my family's life forever because of constantly trying to grow it to be a better person. I feel like now I am heading in the right direction. I'm finally becoming the man God wants me to be. And it's doing it for the right reasons and not having that agenda.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not to get something that you want.
Exactly. 100%. It's just, how can we work together? And that's it. Team, you know? And they're saying family strong. And it is. They treat me like they're family. Like, no joke. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. So
I asked that question because I think it comes like full circle in the sense of talking about the people show up at the right times for the right reasons. Like,
and that's
probably
that's
known
by
about
design.
LaFontaine, you know about the family deal for a long time. All of a sudden, you're in this point in your life where everything is coming together, and then you get paired up with the right mentor, right? The right boss, the right situation, where they're like, let's build a legacy together. They're giving you time, I'm sure, today to come on do this. They're giving you time to run for office.
Yeah.
So like, they're being flexible with you because they want you to build that legacy and make that impact.
Exactly.
And how many other jobs do that?
None. The last dealership I worked, they wrote me up for going down to, it's just the same thing. It's not totally different worlds. They literally use their platform for good. And that's it. And You Can Survive. Him and his sister started this charity, and 100% of the proceeds go to fighting cancer. My dad passed a couple years ago from cancer, pancreatic cancer. So that has a spot in my heart. And the fact that he's the hardest worker I've ever met. And he's doing things with it, growing his business to help families at each store level, but to help each community and just to help the world of find a cancer-free. It's just, he's the real deal. He reminds me of Tom Brady. I think I told that when I was here. Have you ever watched Man in the Arena?
Yeah, I've not actually. Okay, I need to watch this.
Yeah, they're cut from the same cloth for sure. They just hit their outlook on life, how they treat people, and their drive to do the right thing and to be. It's never a excuse. It's always, let's come up with a solution. And that's what they're like. It's just, and that energy, you want to be, I want to be a better person since I've been working at LAG than I did 2 years ago, for sure. You know, it's trickled down effect. Yep. And then somebody sees me trying to do more in my community and they're like, God, if he could do it, I could do it. So then they try and do it. Just, good things happen.
It's just like the momentum that you got on the golf course when you hit that hole in one.
Exactly.
You just keeps carrying over, and the more people you impact, you're creating that army, right?
Yeah.
How do you make life better? You impact people one at a time.
That's it. My buddies say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's it. Same thing. I love it. And it's the truth, you know, and it's how can we try and make a difference? We don't know when our ticket's going to be punched. I don't. I told my wife last year, I'm going to live the next 5 years as if I have 5 years to live. I'm going all in everything we do. Yep. And it's going to get uncomfortable at times. And I'm going to put myself out there in certain aspects that but at the same time, that's okay. And if I do that, I know that I'm going to serve my purpose.
We live life like we have all the time in the world. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll put it off tomorrow. I can do that in a couple of years. I can do this, and you have no idea, to your point, when life is going to end. We should always be living life like we're dying. And that's one of my big motivating factors, because we don't know. And I put stuff off for far too long. Like, I'll just get to it. I'll get to it. And then I've watched people die that thought they had another tomorrow. Yeah. Right. And so that's a huge inspiration. It like clicked with me all of a sudden that when you're in that line and that guy says, sorry, you're like, no, I don't have another 2 years. Like, exactly. We got to do this now. Yeah. And that's like resolved. We got to get it done.
And that's what I felt like this is. My wife, like when she said that, I haven't stopped thinking about it, that maybe the Lord wanted to see how bad you really wanted this. And it's the truth. I want it. I want to try and make a difference for the right reasons, because somebody else can try and run 2 years from now in a different district and as an independent and try and do just as much for their district as I'm going to do for mine. And we can work together. That's the advantage. I can work with both sides of the aisle, the right and the left, and I'm going to. So let's figure it out.
I have this mantra, and it's on my shirt: eat faces. It's to persevere in spite of the circumstances.
I love it.
And so when you look at, there's so many positives, I think, out of this circumstance, because the other thing is you had another touch point with all these people to come back and sign the petition again.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you got more people to sign the petition. And all these people heard the story of rejection, and now everybody's rooting for you because they've got this, like, they're trying to hold them out.
Yeah.
Like, so you had a second chance to go out there and get, it's like another campaign.
Yeah, 100%.
So
and
it could be the momentum you need to keep pushing and winning.
And I think it draws a lot of the eyes and, a lot of people's attention to what's really going on, what we really need to do. It's a broken system, and we're the only ones suffering because of it. It's not about we the people anymore. And I understand that change doesn't happen just overnight, but we got to get the right people in to try and work together to come up with solutions, not just throw daggers in the other side's solutions. And then, just back and forth. Right now, you could come up with the best idea ever, and as a Republican or a Democrat and vice versa, and I'm going to turn it down just to spite you.
Not even listen to you. Not even listen to the idea.
So it's like, what are we doing? We're going back. We're not, that's nothing good's coming to my district because of it. So we need to shake things up and want to really put ourselves out there to try and do the right thing. Right. I need a lot of help, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy 3 months, but my family and I are super prepared and excited about it. And the support, this community support, has been unreal. It's caught fire. I still got texts and phone calls leading into last night about it, and it was last Thursday. So it's been great. A lot of people want to help support me in the cause, and they realize that it's all going to be laid out in front of them. I'm going to be on social media a lot explaining the situation. It's not about backroom deals anymore. It's about what's right for our people. So how do we do that?
I think this is a perfect way to wrap it up. If you've been listening to this and you love what Kurt's saying and you want to support him, how can people help you in this journey?
Great question. I am going to be, if you could hit me up on Facebook, and we'll be having some fundraisers. It takes money to run for office. It's not cheap. And we are 100% grassroots, being an independent. I don't have any funds from any party or anything like that. So I'm going to need all the help I can get. But other than that, that will be coming up in a couple weeks of August. But more importantly, just become my friend on Facebook. And if you have something that you're going through and you need help with, don't hesitate. Please reach out.
It's amazing. And again, I'm not political on this at all, but if you're listening to this and you hear a guy that just wants to do this for the people, not because he's affiliated with one party or another, he has an agenda, his agenda is the people, and you can get behind that, I urge you to support this guy, to go do whatever you can to get out there and help him out.
Thank you so much. And that's it. That's the idea. And we're going to keep pounding the pavement to get our message out there. And, I'm going to do some wonderful things for my community. I know it in the bottom of my heart. Like I'm going to continue to do it. But even here, so in this position, when I get, it's just going to be so much more concrete. But I'm super excited about it, and thank you so much.
Man, absolutely, my pleasure.
Thanks, brother. Absolutely. I appreciate you.